So you just bought a brand new set of RAM and you want to put it in your gaming PC. And what if you want to put this set with your existing set? Well, fear not, my friends. I'm gonna be running an experiment. So typically, when you get some new RAM, most people, they just take out their existing sticks and get rid of it. Especially if they're different sticks. But if you buy the same modules, just populate the other slots. Now in my case, I've got two 16 gig sticks that are running at 3200 megahertz. These are 8 gig sticks and they're running at 3600 megahertz. So when buying new RAM sticks, and if you want to match them, you need to pay attention to these sub timings. So we got cast latency, which can also be found on the back of the sticks. So we got 16 and it matches with 16. Those are both 1919. These are 2020. And then we got 36. And this is 38. Hopefully that's close enough timing where it won't throw off me putting this in here. And I'll have 48 gigs of RAM. But if not, I'll just take out those other two sticks and I'll have 32 gigs of RAM. Slightly slower, but I got RGB now. Alright, let's see if this will work. Also, pro tip, do not install RAM or any sort of computer component when it's plugged into the wall. You make sure it fully powers down first, all the lights go off, especially the motherboard lights, and then touch the metal case to discharge any sort of electricity. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that these are both Corsair. Alright, so Corsair, so they're at least the same brand, but everything else is pretty much different except the cast latency. So they're both 16 cast latency. So while I'm in that case, I'm also going to change out the RX 9060 XT 8GB that's in there with the 16GB, just so I don't have to open up the case again. But there will be a separate video going over kind of my thoughts and conclusions. So now that we have a better look, like I said, you got 4 channels of RAM. You got A1, B1, A2, B2. Like I said, you want to put the slower speeds closer to the CPU if you're ever going to mix and match RAM. But if you're just replacing sticks, just put them in the same places that they were. Now, this is what I love about upgrading a computer. Like, it only took me about 5 minutes to put in the new graphics card and then put in that new RAM. So like I said, we're a little close on the CPU cooler. If this has like any interference with that, I might just say screw this 16 gigs and just run the 32 gigs. So let's see what happens. Let's plug it in. Yes, it's alive. Now the only LED on the power color is that. Looks freaking dope with the RAM like that, bro. And looks like we're very tight there between the CPU cooler and the RAM. Well, so the only LED is on the front, and it's only blue. You can't change the color. Nice. Why you know, Ricky? Hello? Oh, ROG, baby. ROG. Can you please work? I paid a lot of money for you. Into BIOS. That's not the BIOS. Okay, let's try this again. Into BIOS. Oh, BIOS has been reset. Please reconfigure BIOS setup items if needed. Oh, hey, look at that. Freaking. That just looks funky. 48 gigs. So let's try to enable XMP and see what happens. Uh-oh. It's trying to run it at the higher speed. Okay, so advanced mode. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's gonna run those timings, but maybe at that speed. Bro, freaking dope. Let's go. Okay, so F10. I will be back real quick after I update some drivers. After I update some drivers and run some tests, I'm going to run like a 20-minute stress test. Alright, so we've got 48 gigs in there, but even with XMP enabled, we're only getting 2133. So I'm going to say don't mix RAM slots because it makes it really hard to actually run it at the higher speeds that you paid for. But in my case, I gained RGB and I gained 16 more gigabytes of RAM because I went from 16 to 32, but I was really hoping to go to 16 to 48. So I guess lesson well learned. Also, it did something really weird with my BIOS. It changed it into CSM mode instead of UEFI. I'm still learning what that stuff means, but I think CSM is like safe mode. Instead, like my graphics card was not compatible with CSM. So, okay, just like everybody else on the internet, they say don't mix RAM kits because it causes a lot of headache. It took me about 20 minutes to figure out. So maybe like a novice PC builder, it might take them like a few hours. So yep, don't mix RAM kits, kids. I gotta take those RAM sticks out. Okay, now that we installed it correctly, we got 32 gigs at the 3200 mega transfers. So don't mix and match your RAM speeds. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe if you thought this was very interesting. For me, it was a learning opportunity. So now I'm more informed for you guys. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Heck yeah, brother. Subscribe.